didn't even know that a virtual or cloud-based brokerage firm even existed. I've been with this company for 3 going on 4 years. I have never met my broker in charge a day in my life. I would highly recommend you being tech savvy. If you are not tech savvy, it's going to be a little bit hard, a little bit difficult, because everything is pretty much done online. I had no problem with nobody being there to hold my hand. Like I was used to that. That didn't bother me at all. But if you were the type to raise your hand and you really need the teacher, you have a lot of questions, then I would say to go for a more traditional brokerage so that you can have someone there in person. So when you are choosing between virtual and traditional, I need you guys to look at it from an overall perspective. Do not go with virtual just because it's the cheaper route. Welcome to Real Yasherika, my real side in all things real estate. I'm Yasherika Gooden. Today's video is going to be based on why and how I joined my virtual and cloud-based brokerage firm. When I first got my real estate license, I didn't even know that a virtual or cloud-based brokerage firm even existed. I got my license in 2021. And so, yeah, I did not know that they existed until a relative brought it to my attention. And so that was my just go-to thing. I just automatically went with that brokerage, which I do not recommend. Now, luckily for me, I have no regrets, and I am still with this company now in 2025. So I have been with them 3 going on 4 years. I am with EXP. Now I have recently changed my division, so what part of EXP I am with. I was with EXP Realty, which is the regular company. Now I am a part of their referral division, getting ready to start my referral service and focus on just doing referrals within the real estate field. But like I said, I jumped right into this virtual opportunity, and luckily, like I said, luckily for me, it is nothing that I regret. It's something that I can manage and I can handle. But I want to talk to some other agents who may have never been in a virtual brokerage, or maybe they've been with none at all and want to know more about it. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that right now. So being a part of a virtual cloud-based brokerage, first let's start with what that is. So it's exactly in the title. It's virtual. So it's online based. It's an online based brokerage where mostly everything is done online. So we do not have brick and mortar buildings. We do have like office spaces that we are able to rent and go and as a place for us to meet clients. But in terms of going to this building to have our company meetings and trainings, that stuff is not in a building. It is done online. So we are using things like Zoom and all of these virtual online calls and video chats. That is how we are doing our meetings and trainings and things like that. All of those things are going to be online. So if you are considering that, I would highly recommend you being tech savvy. If you are not tech savvy, it's going to be a little bit hard, a little bit difficult, because everything is pretty much done online. We get a lot of our emails and things like that online. We have like this little website that it operates kind of like a software, where we are in this website, we are characters, if you will. So like we're little cartoon figures, and this is how we look on the website. This is how sometimes if we wanted to meet one-on-one with like our brokers, that is how it's done. Now sure, you can do through calls, and there's this like special app that we use for things like that, but it's not in person. Like I said, I've been with this company for 3 going on 4 years. I have never met my broker in charge a day in my life. I have not, And for me, like I said, I have no regrets. I'm okay with that. It's not something that they hold against us. Now, sometimes we do have meetings, and there are different events that are hosted where we can get together, all the company agents. We do have things like that, but on a day-to-day basis, no, we do not have meetings and see each other and things like that. So if you feel like you need someone there, you need to be around other agents, or you need to be in person with your broker in charge, you need, someone to hold your hand or something like that, I would not recommend a virtual. Now, like I said, there are times where we do meet, but it's not on a regular basis, or a day-to-day thing where you can just go to your broker about this, or in person. We don't do that in person. Now, that is not for all virtual brokerage. I don't know how everybody does it. I can only tell you my experience from my brokerage, EXP. But again, I don't have no regrets doing that. I would highly recommend to think of yourself in school, how you were then, or see if you're still like that or things have changed. So for example, when I was in school, I was not the type to raise my hand and ask questions. Like, I preferred to do things on my own or figure things out on my own. I had no problem with nobody being there to hold my hand. Like, I was used to that. That didn't bother me at all. But if you were the type to raise your hand and you really need the teacher, you have a lot of questions, then I would say to go for a more traditional brokerage, so that you can have someone there in person. Or if you need to shadow someone, I would say go for a more traditional one, because you're not going to have that experience. You're going to have, they will provide you with help and resources, but these are things that are more on your timing and things like that. So if you prefer to have meetings in person and all those type of things, then I wouldn't recommend it, at least not as a first choice. Okay, so keep those things in mind. And like I said, for me, it just fits my personality. It fits who I am. I like to work solo. I'm okay with that. But for some people, if you feel like you want to be some agents start out in a group where they can, just naturally have people on their teams with them. Some people start out in teams or groups. So that's fine as well. That is an option. You can find groups in your area, even though it's a virtual cloud-based brokerage. There may be people in your area that have a group that are looking for others, or are willing to accept you into their group, where you can meet in person. That is a thing, that is an option, but you want to look at it from an overall point of view. I would still say that you could go with a traditional brokerage, but it is an option to be part of a group in your area, even though it is virtual, even though the company itself is virtual. So you can look at that. Another thing that I like about it is the flexible work locations. So when you are in a virtual, if you're with a virtual brokerage, like I said, the meetings and the trainings are not done in person, they are online. So you could be anywhere doing that. You can be at home, you can be at you can be in your car, with your laptop, listen, if you are out, you can be in your car, if you have your laptop, or you have what do they call it, a hotspot through your phone, you can connect the Wi-Fi to your laptop in your car and get your work done that way, do your training that way. Now, they do have trainings that are live, and they have some that are already recorded. So, it can be done anywhere you are. If you wanted to go to a coffee shop, I like Starbucks. I'm a Starbucks girl. Now Starbucks haven't been agreeing with me lately, but I think I had too much. But I love me some Starbucks, and I love going inside. When I go inside, I just love the smell. It's something about the coffee smell that just makes me want to be productive. So if you like environments like that, you can go there and put in your headphones and have your meeting there, instead of just being in an actual building and having to be there at a certain time. You can be somewhere in a parking lot and still get your training done and your meetings done wherever you are. So that is something else that I like about it, having that flexibility. But if you prefer to be in that office space, then hey, the traditional route may be a better thing for you. But if you're okay with being flexible, and if that's what you need, maybe you are a work from home parent or something like that, then that is a good opportunity for you to still get everything done, but do some of the things in your own time and in your own space. So those are some of the things that I like about it. Now, some other things that I want to mention and bring up is costs. Now, first of all, in general, I would highly recommend, just doing your research on the difference and, what the offers are. So, traditional brokerage, a traditional brokerage tend to cost more. Now, that is not always the case. It can depend. Every brokerage is different. So, but most traditional ones cost more because you are helping the business, you're helping the company, you're helping the building, and so they are going to have resources available for you that you are pretty much contributing to. So like laptops, if there are laptops there, I mean, well, not actual laptops, but more computers, if there are computers there, those are some of the things that you may be contributing to, like the Wi-Fi. So if they provide things like that, then it's going to be a higher amount. Whereas virtually, they are providing, just the resource, not the actual computers. They're not just giving away computers and laptops and things like that. So definitely pay attention to those. But if you are new or just got your license, or you are considering joining this field and being a real estate agent, my assignment to you would be to look up as many options as possible and see what's the right fit for you. Because if you are not tech savvy, I wouldn't say a virtual brokerage is the way to go. And also, just look at it as a overall thing. So when you are choosing between virtual and traditional, I need you guys to look at it from an overall perspective. Do not go with virtual just because it's the cheaper route. Like I said, it may be the cheaper route, but you have to look at rather you need these in-person resources, like being near other agents or being with your brokerage, having these in-person meetings. And if you're the type that needs to sightsee and kind of see what's going on and learn in person, then you will need that traditional type of touch to it. So do not look at it from one perspective, look at it in an overall way. But I hope this video has been very beneficial to you guys. For any new agents or any agent or anybody who is looking to join the real estate field, I want you guys to look at it from an overall perspective, okay? I need you guys to do that. I am assigning you guys to that as your assignment. So, and feel free, if I have any seasoned agents, to add anything to that. If you have been in a virtual brokerage or a traditional, or you've been with both, what are some of the things that you like better or you didn't like, and help some of these other agents or soon to be agents out. And I'll see you guys in the next one.